But we probably just gonna call this shit big. You'll see why. Yeah, let me clear my throat. Def P, just in case you didn't already know. I came back to spit crack, breaking a couple backs in the way a nigga raps. Would've got us a gift, but excuse me while I light this spliff. Getting toasted at Coachella with the hippies and shit. Not a mason, but I'm giving you these lyrical bricks, illuminating instrumentals like I flipped the switch. Goddamn, the kid ain't playing. Ball so hard and you niggas, you want a man. Leaning Mac, about to win a cool grain. I'm the man with the plan, got the world in my hands. I'm steady switching lanes, me and Peso G, leaving stains in the streets with a few young freaks. Fuck a minute, I've been killing this shit for weeks. Geek with Jessica Rabbit, trying to give it a D. I ain't never been afraid to speak my mind. Wear my heart on my sleeve, spit some deep ass rhymes. But today I'm just smiling, styling, profiling. Same color as Verizon. Fresh to death, a new idea from the
Welcome everybody, we are live on the Sit Down, sponsored by Cousins Brand. Discount link in the description. We have a very special guest tonight, Premium Pete. Happy to have Pete on the show. Pete is a second time Sit Down alum. Pete, welcome to the show. What's going on?
Drew, thanks for having me. Sorry for all the technical difficulties with, I'm not familiar with this system you're using over here. You're using some type of fucking, where they used to trade stocks, like fucking the penny stocks.
We had, it must be a Combat Jack show thing because we had Dallas Penn on and he had all kinds of wild struggles also. It must be like a Combat Jack, contributor sit down struggle situation.
Nah, listen, without struggles, it's not life. Struggles is fun sometimes. But thanks for having me. First off, I want to say that I like, I was on the sit down before when you guys had it up at Power 105. I don't know, shout out to Basil Rock. I think he has Sneaker Sensei in his basement somewhere. I don't know what exactly happened to Sneaker Sensei, but I do like, that you picked it up and that you're following some, something that you love, and whether you're a piece of shit or not, or whether I'm a piece of shit or not. No, real talk. I do want to say that I like that you brought it back, and I feel like there's always trials and tribulations, and maybe but you're doing it. So I'm here. Internet.
Listen, Sneaker Sensei is the homie. Jay chose to go in a different direction. He had some different things that he wanted to do, and
Cubans.
We went back and forth on some different things, and we were going to go together, and Jay went in a different direction, and he's doing some other things that I'm sure are going to be really dope, and I hope everybody checks for him too. And I just kind of proceeded with this and did a little bit of a one-on-one format and did some different things. And some people probably like it, some people probably think it sucks, and we'll continue to grow and evolve and see where it goes. I think the one thing that I have learned doing this, that looks glorious. I should have had a glass. But the one thing that I think I have learned is that, when we have guests that have strong opinions and aren't afraid to speak and, can carry a conversation, I think the show is real interesting. And I think that when we have a more reserved guest, I think it's a challenge. So we're still adapting to that. And Pete is frozen. What is going on? Gotta love it. I feel like this is unbelievable. We spent about 45 minutes trying to get Pete on the show. Technologically.
I can't.
We pulled him on the show. We went through all kinds of different audio scenarios with Pete. He finally figured it out through his phone.
They cut off his minutes, bro.
We get 30 seconds into the show that starts 20 minutes late, and
Jesus
he's gone.
Christ. I don't know what the fuck happened.
I think he's sharing Dallas Penn's internet.
Okay, now he's back.
Yo, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
I was filibustering.
You're sideways, bro.
Phone, bro. What a...
Yeah. This is a fucking mess.
Welcome to the Sit Down, everybody. Where we bring guests from 1985 sneaker culture on that have no idea how to use modern technology. And
that's not true. Listen, you fuck. Listen. I don't know what system you're using. Internet's blame Zoom. They're using Zoom. Listen, when I watch fucking porn, I watch video. I never heard of Zoom. Okay.
Well, he's drinking so much fucking wine, and he's got gabagool coming out of his ears. He's probably got regut cobwebs in the PC, and it's a major struggle.
Shit. Okay. Internet, right. We here. Let's sit down.
Look, we got a lot to talk to you about, though, because you've done some cool things. I guess Combat Jack is where we'll start because, the show's had a real big year.
Yeah.
The show's had a real big year. Now, are you still doing it with Reggie?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. I haven't checked in the last episode. You guys were on a real hot streak. You had some really dope guests earlier this year. I mean, you had J. Cole.
Mm-hmm.
You had so many people. I mean, you had the kid from Empire.
Yeah, Tommy, but we didn't release that episode. We did have Notori Norton, who is Tasha on Power. So I mean, we try to really just go across the board. So meaning from a hip hop artist to or bringing in an executive. Like we sat down with everybody from LL to Chuck D to J. Cole to then a Kevin Lyles or a Russell Simmons or or even a Notori Norton or a Darryl Strawberry. So we have sat down with multiple people, and then we sat down with one of the members of the Central Park Five. Who was, I don't know if anybody remembers that case, but the Central Park Five is a big New York case about 5 kids running around Central Park. And somebody got raped, and it was a whole big thing in the park where they got accused for that, and they did wind up going to jail. It's a terrible story. It's actually a documentary on Netflix, but really just bringing those stories to life.
It's really been, and I've listened to the Combat Jack show like on and off for the last couple of years, and it's just kind of really been cool to see how it evolved from the independent days to the complex days to now. And I think the funny thing is, I teased you about this, there's sometimes where I feel like Reggie's such a good interviewer, and he does such a good job, and if you listen to the show and he's on a roll and you just hear you in the background cheer
I guess that's just a signature thing. Me and Dallas Penn have always kept that going. People, it's where I was growing up in Brooklyn, when I used to visit Fulton Street back in the day, when they used to have all the sneaker shops, there was always like when people were selling nick bags of weed or whatever it was, like people used to see each other and it was like, cheer, what's up, cheer, and so I always kept that going. But with Reggie, my role has always been I get in where I fit in. I was never told not to speak. I was never told, I just, if I feel it makes sense or if I feel that it adds something to the show or if I just want to go left, that's what I do, But cheer has been something that's real dope is that, we were in Atlanta. We were doing some live shows a couple of weeks ago. And Combat was doing an interview, or he was doing some type of thing there for a panel. And when I walked in, he was like, "And you guys know Premium Pete?" And the whole packed rooms was like cheer, 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 cheer. So it was dope to see that people listen to things. I mean, you know how it goes. I mean, you'll start a cliche on here that will grow legs of its own.
One of the things that we were kind of talking about this a couple of weeks ago. The freelance life is and you do that. You're a freelance guy. You do all kinds of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody's built for that. What's that kind of like for you as a freelancer out there trying to patch it together and be your own boss?
It's a roller coaster ride. I think I kind of like tweeted that to you when, I forgot who was bringing it up, but we were in the conversation of talking about that. Being a freelancer, being a consultant, being an independent contractor is a tough job. It's tough because, a lot of these companies you do business with too, like I always wanted to work with a company, not work for a company. That was just like how I felt. I never, and I didn't want, like, I wanted to like be able to like help add something instead of like being told to do something. So, but the problem is like you work with these companies and, sometimes like it's net 90 days. Meanwhile, you needed the payment a week ago, or it's, net 60 days. So it's a struggle because 1 month, I think that as a freelancer, you can make, say, a $10,000, and then the next month make $500. So the balance is so scary and so freaky. I think your success comes in being broke in the eyes, and especially when you're a father or a family guy, it's hard to do. I remember years ago, I got a late start on freelancing. And I remember years ago when I was younger, I was working in a commodity firm. And the guy there was like, look, if you're ever going to do something, do it young because, you'll have a family and you won't be able to do it. But I've been blessed for the opportunity. I've been a single dad for many, many years. So, I didn't meet somebody 4 or 5 years ago. And the girl I met was just a perfect match. And what I mean by that is like, she works a 9 to 5. She has, benefits. So I'm able to succeed a lot because of like the comfort that I get from her. You know what I mean? Like meaning like having benefits or having a backbone. So, I guess I would say it's a tough roller coaster, but you got to have good supporting cast behind you too.
So how old's baby?
My son, I just had a son. He's 6 months old tomorrow. So
6 months old. That's pretty dope. So what do you? One of the things that I kind of joke about on here sometimes, Pete, is, and I feel like although I'm a guy that's in my late 30s, I really relate to the kids in the sneaker game a lot. And I think that sometimes I think it's a young man's game and that it's passed a lot of the old heads by. And what do you think about being in that spot, like where you're kind of like in like a little bit of no man's land where you're in the hip hop culture a little bit and you're in the sneaker culture a little bit and you're a food guy, but when you dabble in that sneaker culture, you're an older guy in a young man's game. What's that dynamic like for you?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because it's like, I do agree with you, but to a point, I never, for me, I feel like I have so much respect for the young people in the sneaker culture, and I feel like they have so much respect for me. People who know me, people who don't know me, but I feel like, here's the thing: when you like being fresh is something that I think, or being in tune with something is something that you could always keep. Like I don't like we look at it this way. A lot of these kids look up to people who have done things that maybe they want to do. And I want to always do things different, like, and help the younger people. Like a lot of people complain about resellers. I've been around for a minute. So people will ask me like, hey, what do you think about resellers? And, as long as they're not doing nothing wrong, like I like the fact that they have an opportunity to make money. Mm-hmm. When I was growing up, to be honest with you, there wasn't a lot of jobs. You have a paper route, or maybe you work in a supermarket, or and sadly to say, or if you really wanted quick money, you had to hustle. And I'm not talking about a positive thing, and I guess the point I'm trying to make is now I see these kids and I'm like, you go to these sneaker cons, these kids are holding 1,000, 2,000 in their hand. They're wearing sneakers 3 times and then flipping them. So, do we call them hype beasts or do we say they're young entrepreneurs?
I agree.
So, yeah.
No, I mean, I completely agree. Like when a couple of years ago, like I used to completely despise and detest resellers. And I used to think like, man, they ruin the game and it's whack. And, and I used to kind of crusade against that. And over the years, I've come to take your perspective there. And that's entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
And there's a place for that. And who are we to say what somebody should do with something after they buy it? They spend their money.
It's funny because it's like some things I agree with. Right here, I'll give you an example. When they dropped the OVO 10s, mm-hmm. I know there was a couple of stores that made you put it on before you walked out. And to be honest with you, I think that's corny. Terrible. Now, I respect what they're trying to do, but how much are you trying to hold to the culture? If a person, And keep in mind, I grew up in an era where you didn't put on shoes and walk out. You know what I mean? You had to, hide them and bring them home or whatever, because you may not make them home. But the thing that I'm saying is, like, if someone wanted to wear them another time, or if somebody wanted to, I never been about that life of selling sneakers as far as like, investing in them. I should have, but I never did. I have had plenty of sneakers and was able to push them when I needed, say, some money. But I never, growing up, having friends, when those Yeezys drop, like, people will say, yo, Pete, you want me to hold you a pair? And I'm like, nah, I don't like them. I'm not going to wear them. But you know what? They're investments too. We live in a world where we got to understand that $220 Yeezy, I think the Nike, I'm not sure how much that retail was, but on the Nike, is now $3,000, $4,000, $5,000.
You're not going to get that kind of return on your money from any bank.
No.
No CD or money market. No way.
No, and you know what? I think like a lot of older cats sometimes in any culture sometimes get salty when they can't make the money or didn't make the money that they see the young kids making now. And, for me, I don't look at it like that. But, I think there's a lot of dope people doing a lot of dope things. I mean, there's a lot of bullshit in anything you do. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of dope people doing dope shit. Who
do you think's doing dope shit right now? Who have you noticed that you think is like, yo, like I feel with it? Like, as
far as sneakers?
Yeah, well, anything really.
Well, I love sneakers and stuff. I love those guys from Sweden. I mean, many people may not know, but they have stores all over internationally all over. They just opened up one in Paris. It looks like a fucking like a mansion, And sneakers and stuff is Peter and Eric, and there's some dope guys, and I think they really love the culture. And they've been around for a minute, man, and doing some dope collabs. And I like what they're doing. I love my friends from Pata. I was there, when they started. I love what they do. I love a lot of international shops. I love that, I love Matt from Cincinnati. I think he's doing some dope shit. Corporate, yeah. I love that, I feel like he's one of those dudes that really care about the people and the sneakers. And, that means a lot. Like, that kid lives and breathes his shop, which means, he delivers that to the customers. I think there's a lot of people doing stuff. I don't think we really know each other, but I like that kid, Fulmer Simpson. I think he would make a great podcast. I think he has a dope voice. I think he would be a perfect example for a cultural podcast, So I don't know. I mean, there's so many people I can say I like what they're doing, but I mean, I think there's a lot of good people doing stuff. And, go ahead, tell me what you're thinking, what you don't like, and then I could explain to you some of my opinions.
No, I agree with you. I mean, there's some different people out there. Like, if you're talking about like a shop or a boutique, I like what One Nest does in Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky, yeah, most definitely.
Joe and his team. I got to tell you, I really like what Villa's doing on a bigger scale.
Yeah, I like Villa. I think Villa, to be honest with you, and this is to me a compliment, but I think Villa is a mom and pop shop on steroids. And I really feel that way. I feel like they may have 100+ stores, but I think the people behind it, like Dame and Patrick and all these other people, I think that they really do care about, the culture. And I think they really care about people getting dope collabs, getting releases and being involved. I mean, they're doing so many things with their stores now, having in-stores. And, I like what they're doing in Villa,
I think the one thing I could say about Villa, just, I guess, from like, I for lack of a better way, I mean, they get cool. Like, they understand cool. And, I've been in their stores, and I don't know that from somebody who grew up in retail, spent their entire life in retail.
Yeah.
I don't know that I love what they do from a retail perspective always, but I really think that they understand cool. The design of the store, the digital presence, and even the way the team interacts, like they get cool. Yeah. But I think they still have a lot of work to do from a retail side to compete with some of the bigger guys. But I like what they're doing. You mentioned Fulmer. I think he's real good. I think sometimes, when I watch his videos, when he gets a little too jokey and tries too hard to force like cliches or like jokes in there. It's sometimes doesn't always work. But
yeah, but
really dope with the product. Like he really kills the product.
Yeah, I think his voice is good. I think he has a great cadence. Like I watched a vlog he did about growing up, and I thought it was spectacular. And you know what? If he listens to this, shouts to him, because I really started to do a pack. If I feel something, I need to tell that person. And I think that internet should really fuck with that, because like nobody will ever know. You know, like when you did the show at Corgi, of course, Corgi, nobody heard from him ever, so it was a big show regardless of wherever he went on. But I felt you did a great job. And I made it my business to text you and tell you that you did a great job. You knew when to shut up. You knew when to talk. And I think that I want to do more of that, me personally.
You also called me a fat fuck.
But you are a fat fuck. But I want, no, Drew, what I want to do more, personally more, is when we like something, I want to big them up. I want to tweet them. I want to text them. I want to tell people, like, yo, I just checked out your video. I think it's dope. Because I think sometimes we hold shit in. You know, like, I'm in so many circles. We'll be around and be like, hey, you know that kid Drew? Yeah, he's doing some good stuff. But you'll never know that. And I think it's good for people to know when other people are talking about them. You know what I mean?
I agree. I also think, Pete, that too much in this sneaker shit, people try too hard to like everything and even like stuff that sucks. They're afraid. I think people are afraid to say when something sucks, and then when it does suck and you say it, you're automatically a hater.
Yes.
And
that's 2015 for you.
And I think that's whack. I think you can think something sucks without it being personal, without being a hater, because hate implies jealousy. And I'm certainly not jealous of somebody who's making shitty videos or putting out shitty content. You know, I mean, and I'm sure people think if they think my content is shitty, then they're not jealous of me. They can think I suck without me thinking they're a hater. And that's not personal. But I think a lot of times, and Corgi said it, you brought up his interview, a friend to all is a friend to none.
Yes.
And I think that while we do have to, I agree with you, we do have to give props where props are due. We also have to
be honest,
be critical, and be honest. And if something is garbage, we have to say it's garbage. And I don't think enough people do that.
Yeah, well, I think there are people to do that, but people don't accept it. Listen, the problem is this. We live in a world where when you say something and you critique somebody, like you said, you automatically become a hater because people look at you. Like, for instance, if you tell somebody like, yo, that shirt you're wearing is no good, and they're like, well, look at you, you're fat. You know, like nobody knows how to take. I mean, I wasn't talking about you, but yeah.
No, I don't care. I am fat. It's fine.
But you know what I mean? Like, people don't know how to take constructive criticism these days. I love it. Like, the Corgi was dope because he reminds me of he reminds me of myself. But he says whatever the fuck he wants. Yeah. And I like that. I like that a lot. Because I think that it's important. I mean, yeah, you know what? I like a lot of people, but at the end of the day, I can't please everybody. I learned that many, many years ago. So, I feel like anybody who's a good person, one day a week, be an asshole. Because people will take advantage of you.
I think that's true. I like to be an asshole almost every day if I can. I really try hard. And I think I'm real good at it.
You're getting there.
So what projects can we look forward to? Like, what are you working on? Is there anything you're excited about as you come down? And we're going to talk about the dad stuff in a minute because I know you're excited about that. And that's probably, of all the jobs you've done, of all the projects you've done, like that's your number one. But yeah. But what other shit are you working on that you feel good about? Like if it's Combat Jack or if it's something else, or I mean, what do you got up your sleeve, man? What about Gotta Eat This?
Yeah, well, You Gotta Eat This is a food blog that I started with me and Bumby, and we really turned it into like this social media engagement type thing. We do the website, but we do the social media, but more so, we became like authorities in like food culture. You know what I mean? And so I guess really just working on to be honest with you, what I'm trying to work on is doing a food show. and I think that's something that I've been always wanting to do. So, we're talking and we're trying to put something together and, we'll see what happens. But, whether, we're in it or whether we sell an idea, that's something I really want to do. So, I think
we have this debate on the show every now and again. You've been to a lot of places, maybe more than me. What are your top 5 food cities in order? Go.
New York.
Yeah.
San Fran.
Can we, before we get to 2 through 4, can we put to bed any of the insanity that says Chicago deep dish rivals New York pizza, please?
Chicago deep dish is fucking disgusting. Anybody who wants a bowl of pizza is truly makes no fucking sense. But at the end of the day, I don't like it. But then again, I'll be honest with you, I'm a Brooklyn Italian. So what I mean by that is I went to Italy, ordered pizza, and when they gave it to me, I was like, what the fuck is this? This is not even that, Italian Americans and then Italians who come to New York, they're two different people. You know what I mean? Like the Italians from Italy that come to Brooklyn, they're not a fan of the Brooklyn pizza. And then the vice versa. So, I mean, Brooklyn, Queens, New York City, I feel has some of the best pizza.
It has
in the world.
Not some. It has the best.
No. Well, I'm saying overall, meaning like Queens. There's a lot of spots like New Park, in Queens, or if you talk about Brooklyn, or if you're talking about Staten Island, there's a lot of overall it has some of the best pizza spots in the world.
So New York City number 1. Give me 2 through 4 your food cities.
I think Portland is amazing. They have a lot of good food out there. San Fran is definitely up there for me. Japan, and I would say Japan has amazing, amazing type food. And I would say, if I had to say, I'm gonna say Houston. Houston has, to me, I'm telling you, look it up too. Houston is not only has some of the best food trucks, and we spoke about this many times. Me and Bun. He calls it gourmet on wheels. So, Houston has, if you look up, Houston was voted maybe the 3rd or 4th best city for food.
I think the Bay Area is number 2 to New York City. I think the food in the Bay Area is incredible. Los
Angeles, San Fran is dope, but Los Angeles too is amazing. I mean, the things that Free Range are doing out there. I don't know if you ever heard of the guys Free Range, I mean, they make the chicken sandwiches. Check them out on Instagram. I think it's called Free Range LA. I mean, they're amazing. Rose City Pizza, is doing they specialize in crazy amount of French fries in LA. After's Ice Cream in LA is killing it out there. There's so many. They have a churro ice cream sandwich spot, that is out in LA. So I just feel like, and there's another place called Boss Cat Kitchen in LA. There's so many spots I feel like that push the envelope in LA. Like they make French toast waffles, or they'll make a Swedish fish type, drink, or they'll make you know what I mean? They push the envelope, I feel like.
You ever been to Vito's on La Brea?
No. I seen that pop up. I thought that was a stock quote or something,
No.
Wait, hold on. Wait, I got to get more wine.
So he's walking away. Pete's walking away to get wine. And we're staring at the thermostat on his empty wall with the brown leather chair that looks like it should be covered in plastic.
This surpassed the penny episode. You know that, right? This officially passed. I'm on. It's officially past the penny episode. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yo, Pete, how you gonna walk away from me, man? Leave me with your yellow wall and your brown chair. What are you in some sort of cave?
I'm in a house, you fuck.
I'm telling you.
What's with all these sneaker fucking people that want to look good in the background? Let me tell you something. I don't work for Twitter and I don't work for Nike and I don't have beautiful teeth like Dennis Tedesco. Okay? He has the most amazing teeth I've ever seen in my life. When I know him years ago, I never seen that type of teeth before, Okay? So, internets, if you work for Twitter or Niche, you can have great teeth too. Sign the fuck up. But I will say, you know, a lot of people want to have great backgrounds. I didn't want to, you know what I mean? Like, I've been on so many different type of shows, you know, where everybody has like sneakers in the background. You know, I'm good, you know?
Okay. Is that I mean, is that it? That was your statement?
Yeah, who cares about my wall? Let's talk about,
What do you want to talk about, Pete? What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about what, the sit down. I want to talk about what do you see the sit down as? Like, what's your goal? What's your objective?
I think ultimately I see it more as more as a podcast than than a video show. You know, right now it's an evolution. I mean, it's been, we've had a couple of struggle episodes for sure. But you know, I want to, I guess at some point evolve it from sneakers, but to kind of touch on that, but not really like dwell on it, because to be honest, there's not always a whole lot to talk about.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, and you know, let me give you positives and let me give you critiques.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and critique me?
Okay. Well, here's the thing, right? Now, I don't know if you know, but I had a sneaker podcast before, me and Dallas Penn. We had about maybe 18 episodes. Okay. It was called Sneaker Fiends Unite. We did a podcast, it was dope. The point I'm trying to make is, you know, I love that you speak your mind. I don't always agree with you, but why should someone always agree with someone? But
I don't want you to agree with me.
But I feel like some of the best things, some of my greatest successes have came at my darkest moments in life, for me personally. And I feel like I am where I am today. I'm in the circles I'm in. I don't have to sit here and explain everything I've done or do. I feel like I am where I am because of the relationships I made over the years. I have true great.
Well, Pete, let me ask you about that. So, some of your greatest successes have come from some of your darkest moments. Like, give me an example.
Well, I didn't know what I was doing as far as freelancing. Money was tight. I was trying to launch a site. I was launching the site SneakerTube and just figuring out what I was doing. And Dallas Penn, called me up and was like, "Yo, come on this show we have." And I was like, "Okay." And I came there, and this was about 5 years ago. And they were about a month into taping. And I came there, and Dallas is always a person that always just trying to, look out. Like, he believes in something, and he wants to. And I went on the show, and it was like my plan. I felt like that I had was kind of like confused at the time. And I went on the show one time, and here we are 5 years later. So I feel like some of the moments
you're talking about Combat Jack show,
yeah. So
right. And
I feel like even with Bun, like I wanted to do something else. Like I never and this is for all sneaker lovers that too. Like I never wanted to be like that guy who was just a sneaker guy. I know people would always say like, "Oh, that's Premium Pete. He's that sneaker guy." Like, aren't you like some sneaker guy, or aren't you some, And when people said that, especially the word sneakerhead, I just don't like it. I felt like I wanted to be way more than that, And I wanted to like Sneaker Box Clyde. He's a great dude, but at one point in time, I was telling him like he would tweet all day about sneakers and do this all day, and I was like, "Yo, bro, like go eat food or something, like fucking go." I felt like people, sometimes people look at sneaker people like maybe they're like nerds or comic book, like they don't got no life. You know what I mean? That's how I felt at one time when people were looking at like, you collect sneakers, or you.
But there's a lot of people that are like that, Pete.
No, but what I'm saying is I didn't want to be labeled as that.
On the fucking internet that talk about sneakers 24/7.
Yes, you're right. But what I'm trying to say is I didn't want to be put in a box. I don't want to look at Don Drew and say that's Don Drew. He's from the sit down only. You know what I mean? Like, aren't you more than the sit down? Aren't you?
Yeah, but I'm not a freelancer. I got a job.
No, I know that, but you're more than what people see you here. I'll give you an example. Mayor, good friend of mine for a long time. Right? Most people think he's an asshole, right? Many years ago, they used to
Because
think he
he
was an asshole.
portrays one on social media.
No. Just because why? Because he has things. Because he stunts or he does. There's a lot of people like that. A lot of people may not understand Clark. As in Clark Kent, they may not understand how brash he is, how Brooklyn he is, how braggy he is. But when I tell you, and I mean this, you get to know these type of people. Not saying you, but when you get to know these type of people, Maya has one of the biggest hearts I ever seen. I seen him help people out, do things for people, care about them, call them up, check on them. It's not about sneakers only. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I think that, even like that kid from Campless, he's crunching numbers, doing all this thing. For a guy like me or you, I'm probably, what the fuck is he doing? But he made something out of himself, and I like that. But for me, I'm saying I don't want to only label somebody as one thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's like somebody introduce you. What would you want them to introduce you as? Is it Don Drew from the Sit Down?
When somebody introduces, I mean, I don't really think about. I mean, I don't. Most people don't know me from the Sit Down. I mean, I think people know me more from the success I've had in business.
Yeah, from retail, right?
Yeah. People introduce me as the creep lord
or the douchebag.
The douchebag, right?
Or what did I call you? Didn't I call you 2 years ago or a year ago? I called you. You were the shop steward of the sneaker culture.
You did call me that, yes.
But now I want to change that into I want to call you the shit stirrer of the sneaker culture. No, but real talk. I guess the point I'm trying to make instead of harping on this is that don't be. I feel like people, you don't have to be put in a box. Like, if you want to, create more things, and that's when I started to do a lot more. That's when I started to, diversify myself. Meaning like do the show, be in the music culture, be in the food culture, be in the sneaker culture, because each one of them go hand in hand, and you'd be surprised how much it's 360. So I feel like that has helped me, and I think it's a great thing for people to do. And there are a lot of people doing multiple things with the businesses they make or do because of sneakers.
I think the good and the bad with social media is I think social media has created a ton of opportunities for people to earn and for people to market themselves and create brands and monetize that. I think that's been huge. I think the downside of it is people feel very comfortable saying all kinds of crazy shit. One thing I do, and I do talk my share of shit, and I do like to stir it up sometimes, but I try not to. I don't get personal. I don't say you're this or you're that, or I'm going to do, I don't do that. I criticize somebody's content or something somebody says, but I don't get personal. And the one thing I think that the social evolution has done is it's made people very, very comfortable saying crazy shit that they would never say to someone's face.
Well, true. It's true. I mean, that's always been since the AOL chat rooms. That's always been like that. I'm sure you were in, sweaters and turtlenecks, chat room, you could have been in there. I don't know. But, for me, people talk. That's what they do.
So, Pete, you got...
Why are you making that struggle face?
I just don't know with the wine. I don't know. You got a little boy.
Yeah.
And you got a teenage girl.
Oh, wait. Before I get there, I got to tell you. The reason why I asked you what your objective is because I feel like sometimes, and I brought up relationships, is because I feel like if your objective with the sit down is to grow even more, I feel like sometimes, I'm not saying for you to do anything that you wouldn't want to do, but I know a lot of times they'll trash like blogs and stuff. And some of them may have, some of them may have the things that I didn't like over the years was like first look, second look, third look, heel look, whatever it is. Like you got to look at the same thing 16 times. But I will say over the years, even when I had the sneaker podcast with Dallas Penn, I used to send it to blogs, and they would post my episode. Now it's a different time. Keep in mind, it became, I want you to understand the event culture. So when SneakerCon teamed up, when Sneaker News became a partner with SneakerCon, they no longer posted anyone's, events. And I'll never forget, I remember Curtis, that used to be with Dunk Exchange, was going crazy because a lot of these people like Dunk Exchange, like a H-Town Sneaker Summit, used to send their press releases and it used to get pushed and people would be aware of that. So, they no longer did that. And what they did was secretly, they killed the game. And I'm not saying killed the game, but what I mean is in a good way. They were the direct news for the SneakerCon, and then they were the recap for SneakerCon. So it was like they were handling everything there. Then as time went on, you would see Nice Kicks went with Dunk Exchange. So now Nice Kicks was denying anybody from having any events come up. And then the shoe game went with Kicks Fair. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is, relationships, have formed everything and blocked everyone out. So I feel like it's even harder to grow in a world that we once knew. You understand what I'm saying?
To be honest, I mean, my objective isn't necessarily to grow. I mean, it's an hour out of my week that I talk shit and bullshit.
Therapeutic.
A little bit. I know we had one guy, Andrew McHale, in the chat called me wishy-washy. Told me I only look at one side of the coin. Hey, listen, I don't know. I think I'm a pretty objective dude. I know the industry inside and out. I've seen it from all over the place. But for me, this is nothing. If it went away tomorrow, Pete, I wouldn't give a shit. Like, I'm able to provide a very nice life for myself and my family and the people that are important to me. And I do that surrounding myself with the product that I'm passionate about. But more than that, what I think I've built a career on is people more than like I work in the sneaker industry, but I've been successful because I've acquired great talent. I've developed that talent and I found a way to retain it and take it with me wherever I've gone.
Yeah, but don't you think that's a different sneaker industry than the one we're talking about?
I think it's all the same sneaker industry. I think sneakers are sneakers because the guys that you're talking about, I see every single day when they walk into my stores.
No, I know.
I see those guys every day in the malls. I see them in the streets. I see them everywhere.
I'm not talking about, like, the point I'm trying to make is, like, when you say the relationships, you don't care about this, I'm talking about building relationships that, that people, like here, like, for instance, your engineer was sound guy, Bass LaRock, fat kid, right? He believes in you. He believes in you because he's there and he's walking through. So the point I'm trying to make is the people you have become friends with and the people that you do things with, it's amazing. So what I'm saying is I don't want you to, think like, you're like, I don't care, sneaker industry. This is just another avenue.
No, when I say
it's real life.
When I say I don't care, meaning I obviously I care. I mean, I want to put out good shows. I don't know that we always do that, but I care about the content. I try to put something interesting out there. Some people like it, some people don't. But I don't care if it grows necessarily. If it does, then it's great. Obviously, you always want to do something that becomes lucrative and it grows. But at the end of the day, if it goes away, it doesn't affect me. It really doesn't. I'm not tied to it.
Yeah,
that's
I'm just talking about relationships.
And I agree with you. The relationships are important, but I'm not gonna say something nice about a blog per se.
No,
I can have a good relationship with them.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying
because I'll tell you what. I feel like I'll use Matt Halfel as a great example, right?
Leave him alone. Leave Matt Halfel alone. He's a good young lad. I'm not
gonna rock on him.
Okay.
I'm saying me and Matt had a very good relationship. I don't know that we have that today because I was very critical of something that he did on his site, openly so. Mm-hmm. And he took it. I don't know if he took it personal, but it bothered him.
Are you talking about selling fakes?
No. We know he did that. That's old news. Mm-hmm. No, he wrote an article that ended up being untrue about a girl.
Okay. I know you're talking about.
And I thought it was, sensationalized, and I thought he was pandering for clicks, and I just, he went really out of his way, and he hurt the girl.
But and what's the difference of? I know you're a big fan of Complex, and I love Complex. I'm also a partner, a media network on where You Got to Eat This with them. So, definitely. But what's the difference of like, and not that story, but what's the difference of a blog, a sneaker blog, let's say, putting out a title that sounds like that, and the way, say, Complex puts out a title? Because Complex will always put out a title that is very intriguing, whether that's clickbait or not.
I mean, I think I'm fair. When Complex puts out a title that's bullshit, I'll call them out and say it's bullshit.
Yeah,
I do that. I think I'm an equal opportunity
hater.
Yeah, I do. I think I think I hate equally. I think I've been pretty critical of Complex. And when their content sucks, I say so. I think that, they've gone through ups and downs. I think they're doing some good things right now.
Yeah.
But I think that they've been shitty. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, Complex, it's amazing because I remember before Complex even had Complex sneakers. I absolutely love the people that they have over there. I love Russ. I think he's a great guy. I love his passion. I definitely like how Joe has transcended. I mean, I seen Joe grow in sneakers. He's always been involved in many things. So, it's good to see that. I really just like how they became an authority in sneakers because at one time they weren't.
I think outside of sneakers, I think Complex Magazine is real dope. Like, I think the magazine itself is dope. I think their covers are dope. I don't know Russ, but I think he's a great writer.
Yes.
I remember when he was writing for Slam, and he was, he killed that.
Yeah. No, he's a passionate dude.
I think they do a lot of good things. I think they're good in their space. And listen, they've become a juggernaut. They really have. I mean, you really can go to Complex for, I think, no joke, like I go to them for pretty much almost everything. Style.
The only thing that Complex doesn't have is Complex. The only thing that they don't have right at this moment is porno. But that'll be coming soon. Joe LaPuma will be hosting some type of Ron Jeremy and Lisa Ann type shit. They'll be sending them out to fucking buy condoms with fucking Peter North.
Sneaker shopping with Lexington Steel.
Yeah, sneaker hose. But and actually that's another thing I want to say. The one thing I didn't like years ago, and it's still a problem about the sneaker culture, is so years ago when Dunk Exchange was in its early existence, right? I remember going and hanging out and saying like, just meeting a couple of fellas there that I know and being like really loving the fact that like, keep in mind, like when you meet up with people and Don, I'm sure you could relate to this. When you're a busy dude and you get a chance to meet up with somebody at a sneaker event that you fuck with or that you cool with, it's a great opportunity to chill and hang out. You know what I mean? It's like being back on the block, but you're actually.
I don't relate to that. I don't go to those sneaker events.
Okay, well, years ago, you never went.
No,
no. The International Sneaker Battle. You never went to Sold Out.
The only sneaker show I've gone to is the Baltimore one because I like Dino.
I don't know Dino, but shouts to Dino. Okay,
that's the only one I go to. To be honest, Pete, like I try and stay as far away from sneaker events as possible.
Yeah. I don't go to sneaker events anymore. I'm saying years. Keep in mind, I'm talking about years ago. But the point I'm trying to make is when I would go to these, I would love just to kick it with all the people that I would mess with. And, I felt like a lot of sneaker, and these are my peers, people I'm cool with, are too harsh on the woman. And, I remember this girl, like there was a couple of hot girls that were at Dunk Exchange at this time in New York, many years ago. Yeah, I'm telling you, that's serious. And they came in and they were wearing sneakers and they were wearing, I think, the cool gray 11s. And they turned around and one guy was like, "What are you doing here?" And she's like, "What do you mean? I'm rocking the Space Jam Cool Grays." And they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about? It's the Cool Gray 11s." And the girl felt so like, like she was like, "Yo, I don't even want to be here." And I'm like, "Yo, what is the sneaker people doing? Like, they're fucking up the game. Why wouldn't you want to go to one of these events and have girls there? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you want to hang out with all guys? Do I want to go to a sneaker event and hang out with Don Drew and Bass and fucking Dino? Come on. What about having a fucking girl there, right? No?
I guess.
You want a circle jerk? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I've never heard anybody like criticize or ostracize women in this thing. I never heard that.
Of course, listen. I mean, I don't know where you haven't seen that, but that's definitely true. Very, very critique. Like a girl has to be double check her shit before she says something regarding sneakers.
Wasn't it the same with sports though?
Yeah, I think so.
You say because sometimes like when you talk about sports, I think a chick is talking.
No, that's because you're a disgruntled Jet fan.
I am that, but you know, I feel like sometimes you talk way out of your ass.
I do, but here's the thing. I think that Jet fans. Here's my issue. I think that Jet fans, every season when they start off and they have like a good defense, because you guys have had a good defense or a couple of good wins, they go crazy. First of all, growing up, going to Giant games or Jet games, all the people at the Jet games are bombed. Half of them or three-quarters of them are all red. The whole face is red.
Squinty eyes and all that.
Yeah, I mean, how many Irish people own season tickets at the Jets? Because they're all.
Listen, Pete, please let me say this: our fan base is atrocious. We have like loyal fans, but they suck. Like it's not like the Dolphins where they have no fans and the other team fills the building. We have fans; they're just horrible fans. Yeah. And I don't know about other Jet fans, but I can speak for myself. I've never in 37 years of life with this team been optimistic ever. I think there are games I think we're going to win, but when I've never started a season with high hopes ever. This season might be the first one in a long time, even when we've gone to AFC Championship games, which I knew we would lose. Even when we've gone to those games, I've never felt good about my team. And this year, I did feel good about the team. I thought the defense would be better than it was. I still think it's good. I don't think it's great. There's been injuries. But I don't think the team is a great team. We have no quarterback. No quarterback at all. We have a very good defense. We have no quarterback. And if we can't run the ball, we're in a lot of trouble. And then on top of that, the fucking Patriots and shitty Boston just keeps winning and winning and winning and winning. And that motherfucker Brady is just, he gets with his scarf and his pea coat and that ugly troll of a coach of theirs.
Well, how great is it for a Jets fan? I can see why disgusted you are with the Patriots, but for a Giants fan, it's so amazing. People like when people start hitting me like Dennis and all these other like G-Spin and all these other fucking horrible Patriot fans. All I do is write to them 18-1. That's all I ever do.
I know, but you have that. You have that.
You know, so it's been a blessing. I mean, we played them this week, and you know, they're running out all.
Beat them. You might beat them.
Who knows? Who knows? But you know, it's.
I asked Dennis last week, if there was any worry. He has no worries, none.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's like. I worry about the draft. I worry about free agency. I worry about the schedule. I'm not an optimistic Jet fan.
They handle everything well. I mean, even that murder. What's this guy's name? Anthony Hernandez? Is that his name? Anthony?
Aaron
Hernandez. Think about it. They handled that well. Like, it's gone. Nobody even talks about it no more.
And it's unbelievable.
The Deflategate, all the issues.
It's crazy.
You know, they do a great job of that. But, you know.
I hate them so much, my goodness. And I hate the whole city of Boston.
Yeah. And you know what? I heard, you know, you tweeted me and I listened that Dennis said Boston has the best Italian food.
He did say that.
Let me tell you something.
Tell him.
This is for Dennis Tedesco. Shut the fuck up. What are you talking about? They have the best. Are you kidding me? Half of those Italians are fucking. How do you consider somebody Italian who says, "Yeah, you got to get in the car"? You know, I don't understand it. Even
Providence has better Italian food than Boston does.
Yes, well, that's true. But you know what? If you have teeth that white as Dennis Tedesco, you don't worry about nothing.
Pete, real quick before we roll, I want to get into just some quick stuff. So, you got teenage girl and little boy.
Yeah. Almost 16 in 6 months.
16 in 6 months. What's that like?
It's like smoking crack and then smoking weed, or maybe doing coke. Maybe doing coke and doing weed.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
Well, I wouldn't know either, or maybe, but doing coke and doing weed, it's a roller coaster ride. It's just like the freelance. It's like it's a roller coaster.
16-year-old daughter, is that like getting crazy now?
I will say this, and I mean this. I'm serious. I know sometimes I'm a big goofball, but it's scary. It's scary raising a daughter. It changed me though. It made me. I'm a fool with it, and I know sometimes. I just think twice about how I handle girls, and I'm being honest with you. Not saying that will help my daughter, but as you get older, kids will do that to you. And I think. It means a lot to me, and for me, being separated, getting married and then getting divorced and being separated and, have to go through that was a tough job. It's not easy, and I know you know what I'm talking about. And for me to do that and go through that, I never thought that I'd be back here again. So it's special, but it's tough,
Having a boy is dope though. And you'll get to some of those dope years. I got a 6-year-old boy, and once they start playing sports and running around, and it's a lot of fun. Not that it's not fun when they're little, but when they get bigger, it's like I don't have a girl, so I don't know. But
I think once kids lose the innocence, I think after 11 years old or 12 years old, it becomes a little bit different, and I really enjoy those times. And that's why I always talk about, my whole movement is presence over presence. And because it's really about spending time with your kids, keep in mind, the circle I'm involved in has so many different type of people, and I think people sometimes confuse money with taking care of their kids. And, this is no shots to an everyday father, but when you're home every day, or you work every day and you come home, you're going to see your kid tomorrow. When you're a single dad and you only get your kid for a certain amount of days, you got to make the most of that time, and, that's through punishment. That's through everything. So, I just think it's important for us as men to be in our kids' life and, really help them, grow. And I mean, let's be real too, even with daughters. I mean, look, I frequent many strip clubs over the years. I've been to many different, with many different girls. Now, many girls I know that have daddy issues, that suffer from that. That those are the girls that let you do whatever you want, And I'm not saying that we could control that, but if you are in their lives, I feel like it will help it so much more. I mean, come on, how many girls have you been with that wanted you to call them daddy while you were hitting them from behind? Huh?
Pete.
Okay. Well, it's not. This is not serious. You can't just curse and talk.
No, you could say anything. I just don't. I don't even know what to say.
Have you ever called a girl daddy? I mean, has a girl?
I don't know. I've never done that. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Pete, let me ask you a question. With your daughter 16 years old, she's probably got her own phone on the internets. Do you post something and she's like, Dad, what are you doing?
Yes. Yes.
How often?
Once a week.
All the time. And what do you say?
Yeah, but here's the thing. You know what I realized? No matter who you are, when you have a kid and they get older, you are uncool. No matter who you are. Trust me. I'm telling you right now, you could be Drake and have a kid, and as you get older, you will be uncool. I mean, I brought my daughter around different, my daughter loves doing makeup. I brought her with TV people who've done makeup. She's done Wale's makeup, French Montana's makeup. She's done some Law and Order stuff she was doing, just doing some intern stuff, checking it out. But she, is still uncool. Dad, you're still uncool. Her friends are like, yo, your father has all these dope sneakers. Your father's friends with all these people. He's dope. Da da da. No, to your kid, you're uncool. It's weird. It makes you feel real old, real quick.
Well, you are old. So, on that note, hey man, I appreciate an hour of your time. I thought You know, I always like to get your insight on some stuff. I tease you. You are the internet's therapist, though. You really are.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like everybody, but I do like, but people that I do like, I form relationships with, and they're organic and authentic, and I do care about them, man. I really feel like, honestly, without, as we close this out, I went through some pretty struggles in my life, and God gave me a second chance, and I really want to, I just want to lend a helping hand to the people that I think, need it or enjoy it or an ear or I'm just another piece of the puzzle.
All right, man. Hey, thanks for an hour, Pete. We'll talk. Enjoy the vino. I think I'm gonna go pour myself a glass right now.
All right. And listen, Pace, this is not a struggle episode, you fuck. Okay? This is a good episode.
Struggle.
Pace.
Peace.
Peace.